Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by today. We are on week number 17 of the Margarete Miller Weekly Collage Planner Challenge. And again, I'm working from this collage planner where Margarete Miller has different collage assignments each week where there's a number of random prompts that we use to do a collage layout. And if you are new to Margarete Miller's challenge, I do have links listed below in the description box. And then there's also hashtags down in my description box that you guys can also search for those hashtags. Again, there are a number of very talented YouTubers here on YouTube that are doing weekly planners and layouts. And then also you can use those same hashtags on Instagram too. And I know I've been very behind on posting my Instagram photos, but that's another story, I guess. But anyways, we are on week number 17, and I've pulled a couple of random things. Again, I'm pulling lots of random things from my stash, and I usually try and pull the first one or two things that meet the criteria. And so this first one, it was something round, so I grabbed a couple different round things from my stash. I had this little piece of material that has a clock or a watch on it. This one says Paris, France on it. It's a little digital image. This was in an ephemera set that I got. It has a little sheep and it's round. Also a little piece of ephemera that I made with a clock on it and some scrapbooking material. And then there's also this little sticker that I've had floating around in my stash for a long time. So those are all something round, and I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I haven't narrowed it down. A piece of map, and so again, this was another piece of ephemera. You could buy those like 7 Gypsies ephemera kits, and I'm thinking, and then there was also another company, Artsy, and they come in little kits like this that you buy at Tuesday morning, and there's all these like cutout pieces. This one just has a scrapbooking paper. I think I've removed most of the cutout pieces in that one, but this piece of paper, this map came from something like that, and same with this little round sheep. I've been gifted a lot of those in the past, so that's where those came from. And then shoe, I had this scrapbooking piece of paper, a remnant, and it had shoes on it, so I can cut out one of those shoes to use. Then the next one is a tool your grandparents would have used. And so I still have a small piece of this little ruler piece that I've used on some of the other collage layouts. So, I mean, it's whether it came from like a measuring stick or like a measuring thing for the tape that they use for women's clothing or whatever, or people who sewed. That would be something my grandma would have used. I also had this die cut of a typewriter. My grandparents would have used one of those. A postal item, and so I do have this bird postage stamp still floating around in my stash. It looks like it's a grosbeak. I also have this posted item. It's, part of an envelope, and so I do have that. And then I also have these little like sticky notes that say parcel post, so that could also work. So. And then the bonus is one of the elements has to be torn apart. So I either could use like this and tear it, because that would work, or I could tear my shoe out, or I could tear the map. So so those are my items that I'm going to try and play with today. And I don't really have a plan just looking at them. Sometimes when I look at my pile, I have a plan right away in my head. But since we need something that's torn apart, and then the map piece, this is kind of my two bigger elements, but I don't think I'm going to use this whole piece of paper, so I'm just going to use part of the shoe on that. So this would be my biggest one, and if you guys follow along, you know that I really like to start off with my biggest element, and so I'm trying to decide if I want to tear this, or if I want to tear out the shoe. Maybe I'll tear out one of the shoes and count that as my torn item. Plus, like I said, that envelope's torn too, so I could just tear that. It's too bad that there's not a lot of room on this side of this scrapbooking paper. I don't know what I use this for, but it was in my scraps. I keep on coming across it. So that is kind of torn, but I don't know if I like that. So I'll probably just cut out one of the other shoes to use. So yeah, I don't really like the torn one. I like it cut out better. And maybe I'll cut this one out too, so then I have two to play with. And instead of cutting out the laces, I'm just kind of cutting it off. It just makes it easier. And then I'll just cut out one with the words on it in case I want to use it more like advertising. So I'll have those three shoes to play with. So I guess if I go with the torn element, I'll probably use the envelope as my torn element. So I'll just maybe tear down and count that as my torn element for sure. So I could stick that up in the corner. Something round, so I need to narrow down what I want. And I guess this postal thing is round too, technically. I think I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges on this piece of paper. So something round, a piece of map. I guess it does say a piece, it doesn't say a whole map, but we'll just call that fine, a piece of map, a shoe, so one of my shoes. A tool my grandparents would have used. So yeah, I think I kind of really like this kind of layout. You can see a little bit of the background piece of paper, which is fine. So I think I'm going to glue this down and then I think I'll be done because I think I have everything. So something round. You can either count the postal thing up here or this little ephemera piece for the something round, a piece of map, a shoe, a tool your grandparents would have used. And I decided to use both, so I have the typewriter and this little measuring thing just to get rid of that little piece. A postal item, again, is this part of this envelope with a postage stamp. And then the bonus is one of the elements torn apart, so the envelope is torn. So that's everything. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it down, and I will come back and show you guys the final result. Okay, I did finish gluing everything down, and part of me kind of wants to also glue down one of these little sticky notes if I can get them off of the pad. Just to add one more little element down here, I think. So I think I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to call it good. And I don't really trust... And because I don't trust that this is going to stay down, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back of it. Okay, I think I like that just a little bit better, and I'm going to call that good for this week's layout. Again, I've been having lots of fun just adding all sorts of random stuff to these. I don't know what you guys think. But something round, I have a couple things on here that are round. This little postal service is round. This little element is which I added for my round thing of the key. Little ephemera piece. I picked that up a long time ago at Michael's. A piece of map right here. A shoe. A tool your grandparents would have used. So I have this little measuring stick. or ruler, and then also the typewriter. A postal item, of course, the envelope, and I also use this words parcel post. So that would be a postal item. Then bonus would be one of the elements torn apart. So this is torn on the envelope that I used. And so that is my completion of week number 17 for the Margarete Miller Challenge. And again, I just wanted to thank everyone so much for watching this week. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.